was your review of the defensive show up there?
You know, I thought the kids played, we played well in the first half. I thought the red zone, I think that was an improvement in the red zone. I think they were in there 4 times. I think we had 2 field goals. Unfortunately, they were scoring touchdowns outside the red zone. Need to do a better job just holding up in the run game. Had a ball thrown over our head. Unfortunately, I thought that we had an opportunity to go up and high point that, which, something we just need to continue to coach. That's unfortunately that's come up. The UMass game that came up several times, and it's something we just got to, when the ball goes in the air, we got to be able to high point it. We got to be able to knock that ball down, and it goes back to some of those 50-50 balls. And then we got to execute, and I got to coach better at the end of the game.
You mentioned coaching better and things the last 2 or 3 times we met and stuff, and things. Of course, this is your first rodeo with this whole defensive coordinator gig and stuff. Is it harder than you thought it would be? Is it what you thought it would be? And working with a new staff, how much has that kind of affected how the defense has reacted to?
I'm going to say I need to coach better anytime we don't perform. The players are given, I think they're giving me all that they have. I'm not here to criticize their effort or their abilities or talent. So I think as an adult and as a coach, I think I'm going to continue to say that until we play up to our standard. And it's not to be a martyr or not to say anything, but it's just I got to do a better job of coaching the guys because they're engaged. I love being around them. They're good kids, and like I said, I need to do a better job to help them, develop them, and give them opportunities to win the game.
How have the players kind of accepted that, or how's their feelings been?
The players have been great. The Brandon Bryants and the JT Grays and the guys. They've been unbelievable. That's why I love being with them. And we've talked a lot about these 2 words a lot: we and us, and we are in this together. I need them to play up to their capability, and I need to do a better job of getting them to their capability. So it's a 2-prong. Unfortunately, I can't play, and unfortunately, they can't coach. So we both have to come. We got to come in the middle, and we got to meet halfway. And I need to do a good job getting ready, and they need to go out there and perform with what we're asking them to do.
During a stretch like this, is it more building the guys up mentally, or is it a physical thing? How do you balance that as a coordinator? Do you play psychologist with them? When there's a losing streak and things, just bad bounces, things seem to not go your way. What's that like?
I think there's also. I think one of the most understated things is the psychological approach to preparation, and I think it's there's not many times that you go out in the games and you're not emotionally ready. Usually once a season you come out and every team's a little bit flat, but it's the 6 days that finish the competition, the 6 days prior to the competition. That's where I think the games can be really affected by. I use the analogy of, let's say you study for a test, okay, and you're prepared for that test, and you've done everything. As soon as you walk in that classroom, you're on the edge of your seat waiting for the professor to give it to you. As soon as you get it, you open up and you start because you're ready for it. If you're not prepared for it, you go into that same classroom, you sit and you slouch down, and you get the test, and you open it. You're like, oh, I don't know that one. I don't know that one. And you keep going down until you find one. And that to me, that's preparation. Because you've all been. That's an analogy to me that we've all been in a situation where we are prepared for something, doesn't matter, school or an opportunity. And as soon as you get it, boom, you perform. And I think that's where we need to. And I need to keep doing a better job of when we get these 6 days, and I need to go out there and from what we did to give up 6 points in the first half, I need to be able to carry that over and motivate and inspire them and get them in a position that we can continue and finish a full game.
You mentioned coaching a little bit better at the end of the ball game. Looking back on it, what, if anything, would you have done differently?
Coming out of timeout, I think there's probably a couple things we could have done a little differently, in terms of affecting the quarterback. What we ultimately did, I could have reviewed it, obviously another few times there in the half, we went over it, but I should have kept going over it, and just distribute the guys underneath a little better, have them execute what we're trying to get done a little better.
Talk about obviously backs against the wall in that game, and Jeffrey and Mark come up with a big play. Obviously, that's what you want to see, guys learning how to win and make those plays at that moment. Just talk about their ability to do that despite their kind of inexperience.
I'm proud of all those guys that played, and it's great that I think that's Jeffrey's second forced fumble of the year. I believe he had the one in the South Carolina game, early in the game. So to watch a player like that continue to develop, and you see when we fall short, you see the heartache in their eyes and their hearts, and I think that's important because it's important to them, it's important to me, it's important to our coaching staff, and that's, you don't like to see that in their face, but at the same time you love to see that how much it matters to them, and for them to fight their ass off, and because right there we're on the ropes, that the ball was getting driven down, and those guys to fight, Mark to scoop it and push it forward exactly the way he's taught and pick it up and to run it in with energy and guys running with them and seeing the guys in the back with their hands up, that was awesome. That was really cool, and we need to see more of that because it's good when they make those plays and see that excitement.
Coaches talked about, and players have mentioned too, about just the difficulty getting off blocks, especially at the line of scrimmage. Is that a technique thing? Is it just an experience thing with these guys?
Well, some guys are getting off, some guys are faster than other guys, some guys are stronger, some guys have a better ability. There's three things that, a linebacker, for instance, we were changing direction, tackling, and getting off blocks. Those are the three fundamentals in my opinion. That's essentially your toolbox as a linebacker. No matter what scheme we play, no matter who we play, those three things are non-negotiable to go out there and perform at a high level. Coach Bake works on block escapes every day. We hit the sleds every day. From the D-line to the linebackers to the safeties to the corners, we all work the same mechanics of striking, wrist over wrist, shoulder square on the block escapes. We got to do a better job. We got to get better at it.
How has DeAndre Ward kind of improved? I think last week he led the team tackles, and he's a guy that in the beginning of the season really wasn't that guy, but he seems to, as the season goes on, be more and more of a contributor.
Yeah, Dre has a really good sense for football, and right now JT and Dre are essentially, not quite, but pretty close to being 50-50. Dre's continue to come on. He grades very high every week. He does a great job on special teams. He's one of the most attentive guys in the meeting room. He can play multiple positions if we needed to. So Dre has been just a huge delight to be around. He's an awesome kid. His story of earning what he's done here and then contributing the way he is right now. He's just another good example of got a great group of kids.
I know David talked about the mental aspect of the game, but when you have seniors who have been number one in the country, have been to an Orange Bowl, and now they're 2-5, where do you get that motivation from to push forward and try to be there when the season isn't gone the way they maybe envisioned their last year would go?
Well, I think anytime you're a senior, and anyone that's played football has been there, it's how are you going to leave your legacy? I think that's a big part of it. And how are you going to leave? What's your final thoughts and what's your final stamp on the program that you helped build? And I think as a senior, you would like to have a indelible effect and a defining moment that you helped build the program, and then on the way out, you helped keep it to a high level. So I think there's a ton of things to play for. I mean, your legacy, your pride, who you are as a man, who we are as a team. If there's a shortage of things to play for anybody on this team, then that falls short on them.
Another week and another good big play by Mark McLaurin. There's been 2 starts. He's just come through each time with that. Are you pleased with his development there?
Like I said, I think we talked about Mark a little bit last week, and from the spring and in the fall, and he was prepared for his opportunity. He was the kid in the class that was on the front of his seat waiting for his test, because when he got the test, he's doing a heck of a job, and the more he plays, the more experience he gains. I think you'll see more and more of that, because today he had another great practice. He's out there, he's vocal, he brings good enthusiasm, he's got a good skill set for it, so we're very excited about Mark and his continued development.
I know you thought Will Coleman was probably going to be the starting Viper going into the fall and stuff, and you had to move Jonathan Calvin over there. How's Jonathan kind of adapted to that position? How's he done this year?
John's done well. John is his best attributes are on the line of scrimmage. He's a heavy-handed guy. He's good at the point of attack. He's had some really good pass rushes. The South Carolina one, first, third down of the game, had some really good opportunities to rush the passer. The huge play at UMass. With the interception to seal the game, so John's done a good job. He's a little fish out of water. That's a challenge to place him off the ball spacing. At the end of your college career when you've been a go forward guy, and then a space guy. That's there's some tremendous learning curves on playing those two different perspectives. But John's worked his tail off, and I've been happy with his effort.
Will Wilson